Hi everybody, this is Laney, and welcome back to History Highlights with Laney. A week ago today, Emmett Till celebrated his heavenly birthday. So now I guess you know who we're talking about, Emmett Till. Emmett Louis Till, born July 25th, 1941, died August 28, 1955, was a 14-year-old African-American who was lynched in Mississippi in 1955 after being accused of offending a white woman in her family's grocery store. The brutality of his murder and the fact that his killers were acquitted, yes, they were acquitted, drew attention to the long history of violence of African Americans in the United States of America. Emmett Till became an icon for the civil rights movement. Till was born and raised in Chicago, Illinois. During summer vacation in August 1955, he was visiting relatives near Money, Mississippi, in the Mississippi Delta region, that is. He spoke to a 21-year-old Carolyn Bryant, a white married proprietor of a small grocery store there. Although what happened next at the store is a matter of dispute. Some said that Till was flirting with Bryant, and others said Till was whistling at Bryant. Either way, flirting or whistling at a white female in the Mississippi Jim Crow era, which is the South, was a no-no. Several nights after the incident in the store, Bryant's husband and his half-brother were armed when they went to Till's great-uncle's house and abducted him. They took him away, beat and mutilated him before shooting him in the head and sinking his body into the Tallahassee River. 3 days later, Till's body was discovered and retrieved from the river. His body was returned to Chicago. His mother, Mamie, insisted on a public funeral service with an open casket. She wanted the world to see what had happened to her baby boy and how his body was bloated and mutilated. Her decision forced attention on racism in the United States of America. In September of 1955, an all-white jury found Bryant and his brother not guilty of Till's kidnapping and murder. The two men publicly admitted in 1956 in an interview with Look magazine that they had indeed killed Emmett Till. Emmett Till's murder was seen as a catalyst for the next phase of the civil rights movement. In December 1955, the Montgomery bus boycott began in Alabama and lasted more than 1 year, resulting eventually in the U.S. Supreme Court ruling that segregated buses were unconstitutional. Emmett's early childhood. Emmett Till was born in 1941 in Chicago. He was the son of Mamie Cochran, born in 1921 and died in 2003. His dad was Louis Till, born in 1922 and died in 1945. Emmett's mother, Mamie, was born in a small delta town of Webb, Mississippi. It ran through the Yazoo River. And guess what, fam? I was born in Yazoo County, Mississippi. When Mamie was 2 years old, her family moved to Argo, Illinois. Her family was part of the Great Migration of rural black families out of the South to the North to escape violence, lack of opportunity, and unequal treatment under the law. Argo received so many Southern migrants that it was named Little Mississippi. Mississippi was and still is one of the poorest states in the United States, and the Delta counties were some of the poorest in Mississippi. Mamie was born outside of the Yazoo River, where the average income per white household in 1949 was $690, equivalent to $7,000 in 2016. For black families, the figure was $462, equivalent to $4,700 in 2016. Emmett's dad enlisted in the U.S. Army in 1945, and a few weeks before Emmett's 4th birthday, his dad was executed for the murder of an Italian woman and the rape of 2 others. At the age of 6, Emmett contracted polio, which left him with a persistent stutter. Mamie and Emmett moved to Detroit for a while, but they ended up moving back to Chicago. Mamie got married in Detroit, so she, her husband, and Emmett, Mr. Bradley, they all moved back to the south side of Chicago. With Emmett's stuttering problem, his mom had told him, when you began to stutter, just start whistling. And that's exactly what he did the day in the store when the young white lady, stated Emmett had whistled at her. Due to his speech impediment, he was trying to calm himself down so that he could get his words out. I know exactly how that feels because I have a speech impediment myself. While in the store that day, the young white lady testified that Emmett told her that he had dated young white girls in Chicago and said, "Come here, baby. Can I talk to you, baby?" In which one of the people, the young black men that was in the store with Emmett at the same time said that that was not true. Statistics on lynching began to be collected in 1882. Since that time, more than 500 African Americans have been killed by violence in Mississippi alone. Throughout the South, whites publicly prohibited interracial relationships as a means to maintain white supremacy. The A.A. Rayner Funeral Home in Chicago received Till's body. Upon arrival, his mom insisted on viewing it to make a positive identification, later stating that the stench from it was noticeable 2 blocks away. She decided to have an open casket funeral, saying there was just no way I could describe what was in that box. No way. And I just wanted the world to see. Tens of thousands of people lined the street outside the mortuary to view his body, and thousands attended his funeral days later. Times Magazine selected one of Jet's magazine's photographs showing Mamie Till over the mutilated body of her dead son as one of the 100 most influential images of all time. So there you have it, a little bit of history on Emmett Till. And the summer that Emmett was mutilated, beaten, hung, and all that other stuff, that very same summer, he was scheduled to go to Nebraska. But he asked his mom if he could go to Mississippi instead to visit his great uncle. He did go to Mississippi, a move that cost a 14-year-old child his life. There's a lot of history about Emmett and how they have monuments, streets, different things named after him. A lot of these things are worth watching or looking at, researching, because there is a lot to know about Emmett Till. Emmett Till would have been 80 on July 25th, 2021. He's with the King. Rest in power, rest in paradise, and rest in peace. Be well, stay safe, and stay in peace, not pieces. Hit that bell so you will know every time I upload a video. See you soon. Word of the year, peace. Peace. Deuces.